step I take is with my gauge. I'm selling dope, I can't live on fucking minimum wage. A young black man, now you know what that means, G. A hard life, and ain't nobody hiring me. Too black, too strong for this fucking little system, man. No Uncle Tom, so I'm fucking up that little plan. So fucking scared that I might just up and retaliate. You ask me why, should my heart be filled with hate? Motherfuck the past, talking about shit that's happening here today. I'm on my knees, oh Lord help me control this rage. I'm being teased like a beast, locked within a cage. They're setting traps, and almost kill me twice, you see. They won't feel safe till they got me hanging from a tree. I'm still running, but I got the Lord on my side. Pour a drink on the corner for my homies that have fought and died. Ain't nothing changed, I still live my life in fear. I ask you God, where do we go from here? From here? From here?
Where do we go from here?
So where do we go?
Where do we go from here?
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Peace and love, family. What up?
Man. So look, man, we finna have a great explosive show.
Ain't no doubt. No doubt.
So you know how we do it, man. Before we get started, man, you know what I'm saying? How was your week, man?
Man, you know, I've been like I told you, I started this new gig.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, which is gonna be fulfillment as far as for me being in the neighborhoods and in the community. You know, I love that shit. And at the same time, I'm going to classes. So I'm going to computer classes now. You know, since I've been out, I've been doing all my computer just off the whim of my wife been here.
Yeah.
But this, I'm going through a class where I'm really learning how to deal with the computers.
Gotcha.
You know, and a lot of time when people get out of prison, they don't have these skills, but everything is computerized. So I have to constantly hone myself to get better.
Yeah.
So this class, and I'm going to public speaking class, and I'm learning how to diagram my sentences and all that. And all this is a process of me becoming more and more successful in what I'm doing. So this week been very, very productive, very informative, and then, you know, just excited about the future of what's happening here in Birmingham and the things that we're gonna be doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not stuck in your ways, right?
Oh no, I
Because you
can't
know
do
because a lot of people, you know, when you up in age, they be like, man, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna do it like
that. Hold on. What do you mean up in age? What that mean?
Uh-oh.
You're a little older than me, you know. I'm pushing 50.
Nigga, I ain't
You
listen.
pushing 60.
Only thing that age on me is these microphones. Damn.
Yeah. So look, man, my week, it's been pretty cool. Sitting here, man, I'm laughing because I'm watching my daughter. I keep telling you, strictly about their family. So I'm watching my middle girl, and it dawned on me today. So she's been playing volleyball for 2 years. She have never lost a match, let alone a game. Never. So she don't know what losing is as far as when it comes to that.
I thought she lost when they was in that little,
No, I'm
the
talking
other
about.
league.
I'm talking about now. So I'm talking about this team
league.
they got.
Okay.
You don't know. Like they haven't lost a match,
Okay, well, that's good.
a set or whatever they call it. So I'm laughing at her because she's a co-captain, and I'm watching her. You know what I'm saying? Come in that little role of being an athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, we used to seeing our sons or grandsons kind of come into athletic, but when you see girls. Okay, I know where you get it from.
Yeah.
So. Cool. So it's funny.
Listen, now.
Yeah.
No, you get it from.
Ain't no doubt.
Yeah, right. Yeah, mama. Okay.
You gonna take the credit.
Yeah. But I'm digging where we going, man. Like tonight's show, man. I've been waiting for this, and I think it's gonna be a good one because the cats we finna introduce y'all to, I've been knowing them for a couple of years, and I've been watching them. You know what I'm saying? They always say. A fisherman can spot a fisherman from afar. So I've been watching these cats, and they do great things. I've been inspired by some of the stuff they do. One of them even helped me walk away from a job, just watching him. So from a 9 to 5 to start my own stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
from what let's introduce them. Then we can talk about them. Then we can get into some more conversation. So. What we got today, y'all think about it now. We got two different groups. We want y'all to introduce yourselves so everybody can see who you are. Let's go.
Peace and love, family. A.V. Ashanti Shabazz. I am a father of 7. Probably probably got 2 more in me.
Hey, you pushing 62 right now. You can't.
Listen, my oldest is 32 and my youngest is 6.
You ain't Abraham, is you?
And I got them spread it all in between.
You sound like me. You say your oldest is what?
32.
All right, so my oldest 31, and my youngest is 5.
Yeah, and I got them sprinkled in the middle too.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, me too. Yo,
yeah.
gotcha. All right, all right.
If it went for that stint, I probably had 20. But I like fatherhood though. I my life centers around my fatherhood. It's not vice versa. So I'm not that guy who like you'll ever hear be like, you got that many children?
Yeah.
Nah, I'd be like, yeah, that's what's up, bro.
I know that's right, my nigga.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a father of 7. I'm a business owner, entrepreneur. Been in entrepreneurship since 2006. You dig?
Okay.
And social justice work about that life.
That's right.
Black empowerment about that life. Mentorship about that life. Connecting with other black people and doing something that's going to be progressive, positive, and beneficial to all of us. I'm about that life. That's the reason I'm here right now.
What they say? At my company.
I see you. That's what's up. So when we crossed paths this last time on that deal, I remember the name of the nonprofit was Empowerment.
Empowerment Alliance.
Empowerment Alliance. I'm Entrepreneur Empowerment.
Gotcha.
He's Empowerment Alliance. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I didn't know the person behind the name.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And I seen the name, and then it's Tim. I'm like, look at
Yeah. Well,
So-
look, man. So we glad to have you on, AV. We're gonna go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Philando Parker. I'm the owner of IHangTVs.com. I've been an entrepreneur since about 7 or 8 years old. Working with Jesse Lewis with the Birmingham Times, which was the only black newspaper in the area at the time. I have 5 children and I have 9 grandbabies. I have 3 daughters. My oldest child is 32 and my youngest child is 16.
Gotcha.
My boys have always been by my side working nonstop since they were in Pampers. My girls didn't want to be that way, so they pretty much wanted to blaze their own trails, and I allowed them to. 2 of my daughters are married with children, and my baby girl just had her first child, and she's 29.
Okay.
I strongly believe in black fatherhood. I was a single father with my girls and 2 of my 9 grandbabies for 6 years. My oldest daughter had a second child, and I couldn't take it. I had to take her. The mother of court won the case, ended up with custody of all of them, had to close a business down, went broke, went on food stamps, Section 8, the whole 9, and just battled my way back from that.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Now, this is a story. These 2 stories, I want y'all to just listen. See, like, we been hearing all type of stuff about black men don't do this. Black men not in the house. Black men not taking care of their kids. They won't do this. Now, wait a minute. Somebody lying.
Yeah.
Somebody, because, see, Charlemagne the God said black men don't cheat. Now, I ain't going to say they don't cheat, but I'm going to tell you what. We love our children.
So what's cheating?
I don't know what you. Now we can go into that. Now we can go into a whole cultural background. The cheating is where they use. But what I'm saying is this: that these black men, along with us, have been in the frame of mind of being the fathers that they basically thought they should have.
For sure.
That's what I'm looking at.
So
I'm looking.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you this: we're going one by one. So Tim, was your father in your life?
I met my father at 23.
Okay. AV.
No.
Philando.
My father was in my life, I would say sporadically, but mostly influential in my life in my teenage years. He was adopted, and so he didn't have a real fighting chance to learn what it took. And so we bonded right up until as I got older, and we bumped heads a lot, and it really hurt me bad when he died of cancer because we patched everything up right after he got diagnosed, and it just hurt me so bad to lose him because his hustle mindset was just impeccable.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I didn't. My father wasn't in my life either, and so I asked that because for me, that was big for me to be a great father.
For sure.
You know, when I was a kid, hurt. You got that hurt in you, like, you want your dad, as a man. And so I can remember being about 7 or 8, I was telling myself, when I have a kid, man, I'm going to be in their life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be in my kids' life day for day. I'm going to do whatever I got to take. And if it get hard, I'm not running. Right? And so that kind of made me be the type of dad I am. Whatever I'm going through, I'm, like you were talking earlier, you center around your kids.
Right.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Like my wife, my kids, and my world. Like,
Yeah.
If we could ask a question to y'all, and I could find out based on one at a time, what was your motivation?
Yeah.
Not having that father, not having those times where you could say, okay, he showed me this, he showed me that. What made you say, okay, I'm gonna be this dude and I'm gonna show people, even though you didn't have nothing to learn from, you had no blueprint, no nothing for real. So you had to make up your own cultural understanding of what you was doing. What made you determined to do that?
Well, I had a blueprint. I have a grandfather who's 92
Okay, go
years
ahead.
old, and I can't say I didn't have a blueprint. I had uncles. I had uncles that ran shot houses. I had all kind of people around me, man-wise, that I could look at. And the number one man I looked at the most, even beyond my grandfather, was Dr. A.G. Gaston.
Okay.
So it wasn't hard for me to learn what.
So
it
you
took.
picked and choose what you were gonna pattern yourself by.
Right. And
Okay.
my mom kept my granddad at our house a lot, talking to us till we fell asleep. So it wasn't that, when I can remember back when getting in trouble, I could still hear my granddad talking in my ear. So if it wasn't for my granddad, I'd probably been dead and gone.
So you saying the granddad was an important part of what you
yes,
were
he
doing.
is
Okay. Okay.
yeah, he is that.
So I didn't have any male role models, family members in my upbringing. It was all women.
Gotcha.
My father was an alcoholic, domestic abuser. He was, when we was real small, I can remember like on occasion seeing him when I was like under 6. But after that, I never saw him again. I might have seen him once since then. And the one time that I seen him as an adult, I reached out to try to, an olive branch, and he just turned a cold shoulder to it. So it was just like, I never had that. I literally learned how to groom myself as a man in prison.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
literally.
Okay.
Like, that's the first time I seen men grooming themselves. Like, before that, it was just, what mama taught me or what I just figured out in being in locker rooms and stuff like that. I never, like, to see a man sit him shaving and taking, I never saw that.
So did that motivate you to build?
What motivated me to be a great father was, now, let's be clear, I wasn't always a great father.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I was a nigga. So in my early teenage, I didn't even claim my oldest daughter.
Gotcha.
Right? Like I was a deadbeat, nothing Negro in the street, right? But the person who motivated me to change my whole life was Minister Farrakhan.
Gotcha.
So when I was in prison and when I was exposed to the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and the conviction that accountability places on you, it's just like, whoa, I've been tricked, I've been manipulated, I done lost my mind. Like I got this all backwards. And it just forced me to redefine myself.
Gotcha.
And then redefine, I literally wrote down on a piece of paper what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be. And I wrote it out. And
Listen.
then what I wrote out, I stepped into.
Make it plain.
And that's my whole life from even my name. Nice. Like when I got out of prison, I changed my name because that whole Negro, Avery Richards, and I killed him. I left him, back on the streets in 1995. The last time I left the street, when I came out, it was a whole new person. So you see people around me who know me now, who met me since then, they be like, I can't imagine you being this dude. Yeah. But the people my partners who grew up with me, they be like, man, I never thought you'd be this dude.
Yeah. Oh, you Malcolm X that thing for real. Yeah. You did the Malcolm X for real, yeah.
So it was very intentional, my relationship with my kids. And I can hang my hat on the fact that I have never missed any type of school function. I never missed a field trip. I never missed anything in my children's life since 2006. Like, there's nothing that's more important than me being able to do that.
But why? Why?
Yeah.
Why is that important?
because I want them to know and to feel that presence, right? And not only that, one thing I realized, even like with my kids, my smaller kids, I realized that gives them more esteem, even amongst their peers, even in the school, and it makes the other children respect them more. Like when you are part of your children's life, the way the other children react to your children at that point, it changes.
Epic.
It changes.
Epic.
They say he got a father.
Yeah.
Epic.
She got a dad.
Even when
Epic.
the teachers understand, oh, they got parents that care.
Yeah, it changes.
It
things.
changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
So,
Listen, it's nothing like I got a couple of nephews that I go pick up from school. I haven't had a child since 1990. I've been gone. They hurry up, got me off there. But anyway, my nieces and nephews, and what I'm seeing and hearing is that, you know, the importance of being involved in the family life and that structure, even as an uncle or granddad or dad, is so important because at a time when we were growing up, they didn't really think that that was important to us. Because if the men had a thought, I'm doing my father. My father was from Birmingham, lived in Chicago, and I was in the game deep, whatever, you know. So when I first met him, I was having a problem with somebody. You know, the first thing he offered me?
a gun.
To kill somebody for me.
Worse.
Worse than the good.
That's the first thing that's the first serious conversation we ever had. Because I was in the street and he was in the street.
Gotcha.
But it was so crazy because I felt proud of that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know no better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But once, like you said, when I went to prison and started seeing men, see, it's a misconception to think that everybody in prison is garbage
Yeah.
or dogs or they this and they that. It's some men in there that really come to an understanding of who they are and self-reflection after they've done that. You know, my whole thing is whatever you go through, you can either make it a womb or a tomb. You make that choice.
Sure.
So, Philando, let me ask you this, bro. So, I've seen you interact with one of your kids. I think that's the youngest. So, how was it with you when you was younger? So, you had kids early?
Yeah, I got married at 17 years old.
Whoa.
Stayed married for 10 years. And had
At 17? Let me close. I got married at 19. I stayed married 6 months, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I grew up, you know, like I said, my granddad was married to my grandma, my aunts. A lot of them were married, and, you know, I had people around me that, you know, I had a great grandmother that would always get in your business and say, "That's your girlfriend? You gonna marry her?"
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
First date still.
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't know to keep them away from around your grandma. 'Cause
She gonna put you on point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So grandma, you know, having those kind of people in your ear and talking to you kind of led me toward wanting to be married. And I was just, and I'm still like that to this day because I feel like, you know, as a man, you know, a man is nothing without a quality woman beside him, you know. And so when you feel like you need to be complete, you got to have a strong backbone as a woman, you know, with you in those times that kind of help you when you weak.
But let me ask you something. Okay, now, the time that you were by yourself and you had to be your own backbone, did that not bring you to the point where you say, okay, I can take this one, but if they not there, I'm still going to do what I have to do?
Yeah. As a father, like I say, you know, I have a weak spot in me for my kids, man. I was just at my birthday dinner last week, and my daughter handed me a card, man. I couldn't even finish reading it.
Frank and Snot,
down
already.
crying, man. I love them kids.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Boy, that's
So,
how I am, boy.
Yeah.
so, you know,
What day your birthday is?
September 7th.
Oh,
Just last week.
he a Dallas fan. He just
Oh,
went to the
that-
Dallas game.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Where you been?
Yo,
He all over the net. Blue out.
all this.
Everywhere.
Yo, he all in Dallas.
Birthday. Yeah, this Philando
Did you
birthday.
just buy a car in Dallas, man?
I did.
Yeah, he
A
just
whole
bought a
Corvette.
A whole, you went to,
Oh,
love it.
Stingray.
Hey,
Well, I was on Facebook, and I saw the car. And it was my birthday.
so damn
It was the one that I wanted. Actually, I saw one before that. It was the cowboy colors, and it got away from me. So I figured that I can get a guy here in Birmingham to snag it for me. He did, and so
He got my color, that black.
black.
yeah.
Black.
So when he got it, and they said they were gonna send somebody to get it, I said, "Nah, I'm going to Dallas next week. I'll go pick it up first thing that morning." And I got there, and they had it ready.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm looking at is the fact that Just think about what he just said, and this with both of these guys. When they decide to do something, because they put themselves in the position where they can handle their business and they not out here playing.
Yeah.
When they decide to do something, see, a man do what he want to do, not what he can.
Right.
So when you decide to do something after becoming a man and say, I'm finna do this and do it, see, that's what y'all need to be thinking about.
Let me say this. I want to make sure that it's clear, right? I didn't have that experience. I always had a woman. I've never been by myself. I've never like took care of my kids by myself.
Right.
I always had strong women.
Co-parent.
Yeah. My ex-wife is still like my wife almost in the way that we deal with our kids.
Gotcha.
And even with she had a son when we got married, which I legally adopted.
Beautiful.
And I have a daughter from another situation, the situation which caused our divorce, but she takes care of it just like it's our own.
Okay.
So her attitude around kids and mine is the same. Even in our separation, it's still the same. So I've always had a strong support system
folks.
with my kids. They mothers, except for one, it's like you can't ask for better.
They grown.
Yeah, I don't want to even put the idea like I'm out here doing this myself.
Yeah.
No,
You got
Paint that picture.
I couldn't possibly do what I do alone.
So look,
Y'all hear what he said now. He done gave y'all prop. We gonna clap our hands for that. Because see, we know that we need strong women when we need them.
Yeah, for sure.
so look, I got a question. 'Cause I heard you say you adopted.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming from the perspective of stepdad. How, and I want to ask this question because it baffles me. I laugh at it. How can you be a great stepdad and not a good dad?
I don't know that world.
Well, I can answer that.
Okay.
A lot of times, I've witnessed a lot of, I look at it from both sides of the fence because, like I said, being a single father, you start to be able to relate to the women very quickly. And a lot of men might hate me for saying this.
Say what you
A
feel.
lot of men will tend to try to take care of the household they laying in the most for the woman they with, and then start ignoring their responsibility with their past kids because to keep this woman happy.
So true.
And
Keep
that's
peace in the house.
right.
Yeah.
And if a man is doing it, in my opinion, that's foul, wrong on so many
I'm
levels.
with you.
Can you say it again?
I'm with you.
That's
bro.
wrong, foul on so many.
One more
levels.
time. Let them hear it.
I agree.
It's wrong, foul on so many levels.
So many levels.
Yeah.
Because number one, your children who you birth, like I live with my kids and all that, and we got divorced and all that. But afterwards, I still made sure that the woman I'm with gonna have to put some respect on the fact that these my kids.
Oh,
sure.
And I'm gonna do what I gotta do with us together, but at the same time, these are my responsibility. I'm gonna also do what I gotta do to help you with yours.
Thank you.
But at the same time, this a village we dealing with.
Exactly.
I'm not in a position to just not take care of I ain't gonna never not take care of my kids.
Yeah.
So and I always explain that, and usually the situations will work out, and I've even had females tell me, well, I don't know whether I want to be with no kids. And I had to put one out my house before.
Well, put them out.
Yeah, 'cause
Hey, you got to self-D, baby.
right.
You got to go.
And as a
gotta
single
go.
father, that's why I said earlier, I learned to relate to the women because as a single father, you coming from singleness and then you get kids and yet you still dibbing and dabbing and dating.
Yeah.
That has to stop.
Yeah.
You have to find a respectable way to do that especially when you got girls.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and so when I learned that, that's what led me back to my roots to say, you know what, Lando,
Granddaddy.
you need to have a wife. You got to show your daughters what it takes.
Yeah.
And my daughters end up getting married. I got one daughter been married 15 years.
Oh,
Already.
that's beautiful.
You hear me?
Yeah. And she been with that boy. Man, was on. Well, you might well call him man. That was 2006 when I got custody of them.
Yeah.
It's 22.
Now
man.
that
good.
that is something that I could definitely relate to with when he said like being, and I'm not gonna call myself a single father, but being a like primary caregiver.
Right.
Like me, my children have never not eaten cooked breakfast every morning.
But look, your children be in school in the morning. I've been over your house now.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't play with them.
Yeah, my children have never not had a lunch that prepared from home when they go out.
Cause you house school, right?
Yeah.
I did homeschool. They're in public schools now,
okay.
but I did homeschool.
Okay.
But to his point, like when you become a parent
Yeah.
and you understand
Real
that,
quick.
that what they see is very, very instrumental in how they're going to be, then you can't show them the ugliness. I don't care how, excuse my language, fucked up you are. I'm never going to show that to them. Like whatever flaws I got, they going to be in the closet and they going to stay in the closet because my babies ain't going to never see them.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And they don't date who I date. Like my children ain't never seen no woman who I dealt with until or unless it became, which is recently a relationship.
Right.
Gotcha.
You dig what I'm saying? But other than that, my children, I don't date my kid. My kid don't go around people and stuff like that. I think we have to be more protective of, like, food go in your mouth. That's physical food to nourish your body, but food also goes in your ears and food go in your eyes. And these things become a part of you just like the food that go in your mouth.
Yeah.
And when we don't protect our children from this pork and this undesirable food, then you creating creating that. And then when it come back, you want to wonder, like, why does that
happened?
come back like that? Would you put that in there?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me show you something. I'm gonna give you your problems now. This man here, his children get a certain age, and he gonna give them a house. Listen now.
Talk about it.
Gift.
Talk about it.
Listen now.
Not one.
Now listen. I'm telling you, he got 7. He got 7 now.
Yeah.
Now this is what I love about both of y'all. But this dude here now, me and him go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm talking about street, this, boom, 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 all this stuff here. Now, when we ran the streets, it was no guardians. We were the guardians of the galaxy in that time. We were young men.
Young fools.
Young fools. That's what we were, for real. You know what I'm saying? But now I look at him, I sit back and I be watching, and he say, I'm gifting my 13-year-old
13.
Yeah.
a house.
2 of them.
Listen what I'm
That's
saying,
what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Man, listen. I saw this and I was like, my little brother came. So immediately when I came out, and I'm just going to put it out, and I had some business to take care of, I called him. I said, look, man, I got this, and that. I'm fresh out of prison. I don't know none of this stuff.
Yeah.
I just so happened to get blessed with some things.
Yeah.
And I had to call somebody. I could have called anybody. I called this, that. I called AV nothing.
Yep. X.
One thing about y'all two brothers, I dealt with y'all on a couple of occasions. Anytime I call, there's always been love. You know what I'm saying? There's always been love. And there's always been what you need.
And then,
Bro, I got you.
yeah, and then as I look at it and move forward, and I look at Fernando, I'm looking at AV, I'm looking at me and you, and I'm thinking about the men that's out there that's doing that we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, Fernando say he got a group. What it's called?
Black fatherhood matters.
Black Fatherhood Matters. Think about it now. Now, I ain't in the group, but I'm finna get in it because I ain't know we're there.
Right.
Because it does matter. That's why we having this damn discussion.
Right.
These are some of the most important figureheads that we can have in the community. In the community, that's black men. I'm not knocking nobody else, but what we've been missing, the unicorn that our community is missing, is y'all.
Yeah.
It's us. Go ahead.
I want to speak to the gifting of the house, right? Because I want it to be just understood why. Like, how did this even happen?
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So I'm dealing with children, right? I'm dealing with a lot of social justice work that I'm doing in the communities. And in social justice work, you cross every issue that is in the black community, you touch it, right?
Yeah.
So one of the main issues was, one of the issues was housing, and another one was education, right? So inside of the educational component, I'm looking, that's the reason I chose to homeschool, because I'm looking at public schools, and I'm looking at, okay, once a child graduates from public school, what are they qualified for? Like, what are they, what opportunities are there, right? And what we see in our communities when we really look is that's where everything goes left. Yep. Once a person leaves high school, whether that's they graduate or they leave early, it goes down because the undergird of the protection of the mom, dad, whoever's taking care of them, once that's removed, then
Ain't got no foundation.
the readiness that we put 12 years of education in
Ain't
don't
did
show
nothing.
up.
That's right.
So it's like we sending these children to school for 12 years to be prepared for what? That's the question I had to ask myself. Right?
Oh, that's what they teach you.
Right, and those jobs are most times just labor.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go to school at all to do those jobs.
Exactly.
So why are you sending them to 12 years of school to get a McDonald's job
Welcome
or a
to
labor job?
McDonald's. I'll
Right.
take your order. Yeah.
So looking at that, I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta come up with something in order to give them
Opportunity.
an opportunity to become what they want to become. Because watch this, once you finish high school, then the way that this system is set up, that's when you really get to go and fill out what you want to do with your life.
That's right.
Right? So if you have the responsibility of taking care of yourself, and Lord forbid you have kids early, now you have all this, now your whole dreams are really,
Travis.
yeah, they become very, very hard. Not that they're impossible at that point,
Yeah,
because
but it's rough.
we got some
It's
stuff,
an uphill
but
battle.
it becomes very, very hard. So I said, okay, the way that I can do that is, and all of this is little pieces of stuff I picked up along the way. We know in the Jewish tradition that turning 13,
Yeah,
they call that what, that Hanukkah?
nah, my fifth. What it is?
Bar mitzvah.
My mitzvah.
Bar mitzvah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then in the African tradition, rite of passage, right? So with me just thinking about 12 to 13 becomes the beginning of adulthood, right?
right.
So it's time to switch gears. Now you're not a child anymore, you're a young adult. So everything that you're doing at this point needs to be thinking forward. So I want to make something very impactful at that point in your life that signifies in your mind that this is not
clean.
what it was no more. This is serious.
Gotcha.
And what I'm going to put, which is the house, and the house is going to be a income generator for you to be able to take care of. You can take care of it take care of you. And once you get to the point of that 4 years, you have a nest egg to go into the world with, and you have a house that you can go into without having the strain or the stress of having to worry about, paying a bill or paying a mortgage or a rent. So it becomes, now what do I want to do? Now the child has the opportunity to say, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go to school for dance or for art or for whatever?
You can choose.
They
can choose.
don't have
For
that
sure.
pressure on them.
Exactly.
So that was kind of that was the reason, the motivation behind me doing that. And just so you know, the first house that I bought, I gave to my daughter. It wasn't for me. So most people think vice versa. They go out and build wealth for themselves, and then after they go to their kids. But I'm like, I don't even live for me.
You putting your future.
Living for your kids.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this is not about me.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So once I get the opportunity to buy something, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna pass it to one of them and set them up. And
Listen.
yeah, so that's the motivation behind it.
And one thing I always saw y'all too, man. Y'all always had y'all children when y'all doing work.
Yeah,
I done seen both of y'all. You have one of your kids alone.
Yeah.
Teach them.
Yeah, I've been basically training my boys. My first son, he's 22 now. He started working with me when he was 8 with I Hang TVs. When we first started, he literally was with me. I get pictures and all that. I just think about it sometime. And when he was in Pampers, he worked with me when I was doing Direct TV. And he rode around until he was able to go to kindergarten with us all the time. And
his
so
kids be doing the work for real.
Exactly.
Oh,
Let's
you
be
Yeah.
clear.
listen.
That's all the way down to that baby boy.
You talking about the little one?
Yeah.
Man, that boy be doing the work. Boy, that boy ain't there riding
I done
along.
seen him
boy.
on commercials.
Yeah.
That boy
everything.
be up under houses, attics, and everything. That boy doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he-
that-
and they-
So Philando, would you say you built and started with both y'all your own legacy?
yeah,
Was you doing this before you just came up with this? The idea of hanging TV. What I mean,
oh,
so
yeah.
how did that go, y'all?
When I was working at Direct TV, I was a satellite TV technician, and I was installing satellites when people were going from fatback TVs to flat screens. And once Direct TV forced me to go to high definition class, and I didn't want to deal with high definition, but not realizing the world was going to that. And so they stopped giving me installations, and when they did that, it kind of hurt me. So I was like, I'm gonna have to figure something out. So I went on. I quit being a contractor, and I went to corporate Direct TV because I needed a job. I thought that they was going to give me what I was already doing. And so, no, we can't bring you on unless you go to satellite TV. High definition class. And so they gave me a brand new truck, tools, the whole nine, sent me straight to class with the truck. And I used to drive from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, and I learned how to do high definition satellite TV. And when they first gave me my route, I was out. I started learning I was going to be in these prominent areas like Mountain Brook, Ross Bridge, you just name it, those kind of areas. And they were simply asking if I knew it. Every time I would do a satellite TV, it was going to go to a flat screen. It was no longer going in this cabinet, or it was just on the floor, right in front of the fireplace on a credenza or just something. And the women were always the ones squawking. So out of the 14 years that I've been doing this, I've learned that the women treat homes like men treat cars.
Yeah.
And so the women were the ones who always asked me if I knew anybody to hang TVs. I'm like, no. Well, can you see if you can know? I may get fired for hanging a TV. So I just kind of left it alone. I just kept hearing it over and over and over again. And then one time I bought my own TV. I was a Sunday technician, so I would work all week down to Saturday. They gave me one day of the week off, so I would take Saturday so that I could take my kids out to do stuff. And then on Sunday, I would allow them to go to their mom's house, and I would work Sunday. And one day on a Sunday, a gentleman talked me into helping him with his TV. And he was the last stop of the day. I told him what all he needed. Make a long story short, he started telling everybody else out there hung his, and his family, his friends, all of them kept calling me. Then DirecTV got wind of it and called me in the office from Roebuck. I drove back to the office and they said, "Are you hanging TVs or whatever, starting a TV installing business?" And I say, "Well, yeah." I said, "I do this when I'm not at work, but I do DirecTV when I'm at home. I hang TVs." And then they said, "Well, what if DirecTV want to hang TVs?" I said, "Well, I don't know. You can hire me to help or whatever." And they suspended me. So when they suspended me, I asked them when I'm going to be paid for suspension. They said, no. And I was only making $12 an hour. So I went home. I started looking around and saw my kids catch the school bus for a long time. But they called the school bus, and we used to have these big old fat cell phone looking things called PDAs. And I started going back through there looking through those people that kept asking me to hang their TVs. So within 4 days, I made $3,500 hanging TVs.
Stop it.
And so they called me back to work for the hearing about my job and asked me.
Damn that job.
Well, that was the result. So right before that, they said, "Philando, we want to consider bringing you in.
I know you do.
You do have experience, and we want to keep you, and want to know if you're going to continue trying to start a TV hanging business." That's exactly how they said it. And
the big one.
Right. So I started thinking about them 6 days a week, nonstop, in the cold, the rain, the heat, outside, putting a satellite on people's houses, $12 an hour or $3,500 in
4 days.
It was a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Hey, did you ever go back and thank that guy?
No,
Thank you for firing me, man.
No, they learned who I was probably within a year because
Exactly.
the TV installations were very in high demand. We was making hundreds of $1,000s in the first 2 to 3 years. We started buying trucks, all kind of stuff. And there wasn't nobody that knew how to put the wires in the wall and all that. And we just learned how to do it. Still to this day, there are a lot of installations
And
that nobody
got major commercials on that, man.
Yeah.
You're doing great, man. I'm gonna give you flowers right here.
Thank you.
Both of y'all now, but
No,
right now we're talking to you, but I know this man here just like you.
I want to talk about Philando. Philando, me and Philando, we connected on different occasions, right? But Philando's is a marketing genius. Right?
Well, you better talking.
That's why he getting all this money.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That was his man. You remember?
It ain't what he doing.
Philando,
It's
stop
why
that
he-
line and give
it's
us
how
the
he
truth.
market.
No,
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Listen, that boy, he gonna tell you everything. He gonna break it all the way down from how you approach the internet, how you get your stuff seen, how you present, all of the stuff that bring the business to you.
Right.
This man sits and studies that stuff, man, and does it. He implements it.
Can I get in the class?
And
That's
it's-
all I'm trying to do.
And
He's
he
right.
tell you this with casual conversation.
Yeah,
It's
casual
all-
conversation.
You know, if you're around him, he gonna pour it into you. If you
Yeah.
sit around, he gonna, because that's how he is. He's
Just
just
let it
thinking.
go.
He always thinking business. I'm the same way in my circles. But when it comes to that marketing stuff,
That's him.
like even the stuff that I do, like you see me brain hard.
Right.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
I remember our second meeting.
Yeah,
Our
we-
second meeting we had. And you brought that up. You said, well, Lindell, don't nobody know who you are.
Yeah.
You said, man, you got to brand yourself. You got to, you got to market, advertise.
I learned that.
Yeah.
My background is sales. It's not installing TVs. I did that because I was a single father and I had to figure out a way to make money. I was on food stamps, Section 8, so I didn't have the time.
What you was on?
Food stamps in Section 8.
Men don't get on food stamps Section 8.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I was on food stamps.
Okay.
When I got out the prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clear it up.
Yeah, they do.
Clear it up.
I got $100.
Yeah.
Worth.
I can remember going to some of the Section 8
Go with that
meetings.
card.
And it would be a couple of guys there, fathers. You know, I had a little circle I was in, about 2 other guys that had their children too.
Right.
And so, you know, as a matter of fact, I had another buddy of mine. He had his kids through a divorce, and he worked for DirecTV as well. So we would let our kids play together, so we can go and make money to come home. You know, to make money. You know,
Listen now.
yeah. So we just found ways to make money. But my background is sales and marketing. Finding customers is the easiest thing in the world for me.
Okay.
Installing TVs is just the motor or the engine to
Right.
to
It's
to
what
do
you
it.
do.
Yeah, I don't have to install TVs
But
at all.
my thing is when I'm listening to y'all talk and I'm listening to the jewels that being dropped, I'm saying to myself, if you're looking at this podcast right now, remember AV and Philando. I hang TV, right?
Yes, sir.
E2 Real Estate Solutions.
Listen, this both of these marked out. Man, listen, if you listen to what they're saying, now if you don't understand game when it's being said down, let me break it down to you. This is game personified, okay? They done did this. This ain't nothing that they talking about doing. This ain't nothing that they sitting up and saying that we might be able to do it. This is something that's been done. Now, if you want to get out of this, I know this man came from the street.
Yeah.
Okay, from the street. Now, all y'all dudes in the street and y'all sitting there thinking that, man, I'm in the street, I can't get out. That's a lie. That's a lie. I mean, if you want to make your family better, your neighborhood better, your life better, listen to what we're talking about tonight. Listen to these dudes. We listen to them. I just said and told you about what I saw him do, and they didn't tell me about Philando, but I ain't got no Philando. I see his damn commercials too.
Be all on the
You got a whole bus.
You feel what I'm saying?
You got a bus.
All I'm saying is this, man. As we
bus.
work, these black
boy
men,
serious.
let's do what we need to do. If you need help understanding how to do business, if you got some money in your pocket that you don't know what to do with, call some of these folks.
Yeah.
Don't hold on to that money, go out into the street, say, I'm going to go do this, do this, do this.
Right.
Make that shit right.
They will help you, but they definitely businessmen. They will help you now.
And I want to say this as well as it relates to my seeds, right? Like, my attitude toward children is different from a lot of people, right? So I feel like, well, I don't feel like, I live like, if my children can't go, I can't go. I don't care where it is. If I can't walk in that room with my kids, I ain't going in there. You dig? So I take my kids anywhere. I don't care if it's a business meeting, it could be a banker's meeting, it could be whatever. My kid's gonna be right there.
You sure? I mean, you did. 'Cause
Yeah.
You brought your kid to the meeting.
And the people might look at you sideways or crazy and feel like this is not appropriate, but I don't care. I need them to be exposed.
Right.
Exactly.
You did, because through exposure,
Equal
is
expansion.
yeah, it diminishes any type of reservations or
Ignorance.
or fear of being in these type of spaces because you're used to them. Right. You dig what I'm saying? So it ain't even that they have to be involved. Just be in the room.
Gotcha.
You dig what I'm saying? So I approach with my kids. That's the reason I keep them with me, because I want to make sure that they're exposed to things, and then after we leave, we have conversations about it.
Exposure is
So they know
expansion.
what's going on.
So let me ask y'all this, man. So we talked all about the business, everything. I want to know how y'all are in the house with your kids. Like,
I'm lame.
what y'all?
Me and my
Yeah.
well, my only got one child in the house with me now.
Okay.
He's over his mom's house. When I went to Dallas, I was gonna take him to Dallas, but I realized we could get in that car, so we didn't have the room. So he would be with me now. But I called him earlier today and asked him how he was doing. He said, "Dad, I'm doing schoolwork." I said, "You ready to come home?" He said, "No, I'm gonna stay on a few more days with mom."
Yeah.
So he's with his mom right now. But it's just. You know, I think about a lot of the stuff that we're talking about when it comes to kids, but AV is right. You know, a lot of the things that I've done is to try to expose my children to all kind of business meetings. I've even bought them suits, whatever it takes to expose them to what they need to know as they grow older. The major factor, though, I haven't heard us talk about, though, is money management.
I was just finna look.
Yeah, so, you know,
Take it out
kids
my
will
mouth.
blow the business. Kids
Yeah.
will just mismanage. You know, we try to throw a steering wheel into the kid's life. And I made that mistake, I believe, in my girl's life. Like trying to set them up for the life that I thought they should have. You know, sometimes you have to you have to give them the tools. And so some of the things I saw with my girls is that when I started trying to give them the tools, my oldest daughter listens very well. So I give her the tools and she applies them. And, you know, so I can remember when my daughter was wanting to do hair and stuff like that. And Mr. Trotter back in the day had a beauty school in Roebuck. And I bought when she was 16, I bought her a $500 golden hot set. I took a whole check and bought it. A whole check. You heard me
exactly.
right? $500.
This for my baby.
For my baby.
She can have it.
Right. Yeah. So, and she wanted to do hair because believe it or not, I used to do my girl's hair because I didn't want to have to pay them.
I get it. I did the same thing. Yeah.
So, but she said she wanted to learn how to do hair, and so I bought her a $500 golden hot set from Inslee Beauty Supply. Never forget it. And she still uses them today. She's a beautician and she has her own shop. And you know, when you empower them with the tools that they need to succeed, that's when you get to sit back and not have to worry about bailing them out of things. I have not had to bail any of my girls out of anything because I've actually put them in a position where they should know, or they have a husband or someone that can actually lead them into what they need to do. Even my baby girl, she's not married, but she works and takes care of herself very well. And so I try to bring up the fact that
Proud dad, man.
thank you.
Keep talking.
I try to think about the financial, like credit. We should be teaching our children credit. What AV talking about is powerful.
Power.
Because if what he is applying for them, like he hit it dead on the head. When these kids leave school, that's where the crime is coming from.
Feel me?
If you take no skill, no father, you're gonna get all the shooting.
Get
You're
nowhere.
You're gonna get all the drama that's going on, and we're gonna keep on praying and holding prayer vigils and fish fries for no insurance and
Shirts,
burial.
balloons.
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. It just gets old. It's the same. And then the killing part is this is what gets me, and I don't mean to hurt nobody in this.
No, tell the truth.
But what gets me is when they go on these Facebooks saying what they need to say about the children, and I go right to the Facebook page of the child that got killed. You looking at them with guns, money everywhere,
My
and you
baby
can
was a great kid.
clearly see
Right.
that
It was a problem.
And the first thing I think about, and the first person I think about, I don't care what the situation is, where's the father? Children have children love structure for one. All right, so when you have a father that's not going to tolerate you being in certain ways, and we're going to hold you to the fire with consequences. And when there's no consequences, and a lot of these guys are shooting and acting out, they using their emotions, and they are taught that.
So you saying they're emotionally immature?
They're emotionally fed.
I was emotional. That's when I was out here acting a fool.
Right, he's right.
It was
When
emotional.
right. See,
You know what to do with it.
Didn't know what to do with it.
Right,
So
and
I
so
act up. I cut up.
and it's kind of like a computer, or it's kind of like when you have a child, or a boy, I'm gonna say a boy, who uses his emotions when he get mad. Number one, he got to be careful with that because it exposes his weakness when he's around his peers. So in order for him to show people he ain't weak, he reacts and acts out. So that's where you're going to get these shootings and stuff and the fights and all that.
Listen.
And if they don't know how to get no money, they breaking in houses, stealing cars, robbing people, and getting killed as a consequence because people not going to tolerate you taking nothing from them.
Thank you.
So this is the problem. So until America puts their eyeglasses on, America, and look at the black community and clearly see that there's a problem that the fathers are missing, nobody want to talk about that. We want to keep talking about this and keep praising this and keep praising that and keep ignoring the elephant in the room. When people call me to tell me, hey, Philando, I want you to come and help us mentor these kids, the first thing I'm asking where the parents at. I'm not fit to mentor no kids and there ain't no parents that are mentor. You going to straighten this kid out and send him back what got him that way.
You feel me? Back into the
So
hole.
that for me, that's the problem. So for me, that's like having a dog.
So you saying you got to mentor the folks?
You got
the
to mentor
parents.
you got to mentor the mama and the dad.
We gonna have some
I don't care if they
grown
together-
folks need mentoring.
Right.
Okay.
I don't care if they together or not.
They was never raised.
They were never taught.
Right. So when you start mentoring these mothers and fathers, I don't care if they're together in a relationship or not, they're responsible.
Children.
These are the
Minister
seeds
Farrakhan
that they're
raised
creating.
me.
Right.
As a grown man.
Way over here. He was up here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is these kids are learning these mindsets from these parents and what they see. The women are emotional because women deserve to be to feel how they feel because they're being dealt like they're being dealt. They're getting dealt raw deals. They be just as sweet as they can be when they're naive, and then they get led down these roads and being treated that way. And what happens is they can't control some of that emotion, and these kids are in the other room ear hustling and learning what this is. And so now you have the girls looking up to the women and what they think a woman should be. And they're learning everything from their mother, their grandmother, and
Instagram.
everybody. They also these boys are looking at their mother and learning that the man ain't nothing. So now all of a sudden he feels like men ain't nothing.
So you saying that you wait a minute. This what I'm hearing. Let me see what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you're saying that we're always looking at what we're doing,
Yeah.
but we're not looking at what happened to us.
Yeah, no, I always go, for me, I always go to the root of the problem. I'm sorry. If you light a match and don't blow it right out, you're going to have you a fight.
A fact.
I don't care what you say. So if you sit up and strike that match and just sit up and play around with it and let it burn a little and keep laying it by stuff that flames it up a little bit, at some point you're going to have a fire. And you can't lay down and go to sleep knowing that's there.
So you saying we've been sitting around laying down, letting these folks go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Pick it back.
yeah, off what the brother just said. So when we look at our community, and this is another thing that the teacher of Elijah Muhammad forced me to just to recognize and reconcile, right? So when we look into the black community, if we look into the black community pre-integration, we see a whole different reality.
Ain't it though, man?
We see black people who, a black community that thrive in spite of racism, in spite of poverty, in spite of all of
Tulsa,
everything
Oklahoma.
the
Think about
world
it.
had to throw. Those communities thrived in spite of that.
I don't
So
have
what
any
was
problem.
the makeup of those communities? Those communities was made up of families.
Black families.
90% marriage rate in the black community.
Listen.
Pre-integration.
Make it plain.
The black community began to decline when segregation came.
What?
Segregation, if you look at the black community and you look at when segregation hit, you would see the decline of the black community because this was the dismantling of family.
Yeah.
Right? So we see the problem because, and it's not about like what this new era of intellectuals like to call root causes, like poverty is the root cause. I done seen dire poverty in America. I done seen it outside of America. And I done seen people exist in dire poverty without it being violent.
Exactly.
Without it being cutthroat.
Yeah.
Right? So that ain't it.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? But what it is we, like my children don't know what Jordans are. Like literally. My children do not call clothes by names. Like my children never say, I'm finna go put my Nikes on. They say my black shoes. Because we never identified clothes based on a brand. That's never been important to them. My kids don't care nothing about that. They, like, even going back into the public school system, like, they are being integrated into this, like, they be like,
Right.
Air Max, what does it matter? Like literally what
Shoes.
like it's some shoes.
But if you
know what I
really,
mean?
if you really think about it, back in the day, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm a little older than all y'all, but when I was growing up, we used to go to what that damn store was? Bargain Town. They had a
yeah.
barrel
Yeah.
of shoes,
Yeah, scats.
scats. You just go in there and grab some.
Yeah.
And we didn't sit up here and say we're going. We went and grabbed some $10 shoes and didn't care what they was.
Well, see, if y'all stop for a second and just think about everything that you all are saying, a lot of this comes from the lack of understanding, knowledge, and skill set. So when you have a family, a father, keep going to the father.
Yeah, okay.
I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how nobody feel about it. When you keep ignoring the father in the house, you tend to not have the quality of education coming to that house if the mother has an understanding of what education level should be.
Well, why is the father so important?
The father's important because he's the backbone. It's in the Bible. He's the backbone. He's a provider. He's a defender. He is the reason why we stand firm in families. As a matter of fact, when you get a bunch of men in these communities who are on one accord, they can protect the families without needing the police.
Listen.
So when you have men that ain't gonna tolerate no shooting in this neighborhood, the shooting will stop.
Stop it.
So when you got grown men around here sagging,
What kind of men?
Grown men
Okay.
doing the same thing these youngsters doing. They looking up to it, calling them OG and stuff. Man, look, a lot of them leading these children to poverty and death. Ain't teaching them nothing. I challenge every black man in the city of Birmingham.
How many?
Every black man.
Wait a minute. Say it again. How many?
I challenge every black man in the city of Birmingham to look within themselves and understand that the seeds that they created, they are responsible for.
Listen.
So if your child is out here toting a pistol, be willing to die to get in front of that gun and stop that boy from doing what he doing.
You hear me?
You see what I'm saying? You know, the Proverbs 29:18 says, where there's no vision, a man perishes. So meaning that if we don't have no plan, and this is another thing. Ladies, I love the ladies.
Ain't no doubt.
But ladies, when you allow a lizard to get to the point of an alligator, and you've hindered the trainer from teaching this alligator how to behave, you gonna have an alligator at some point. And if you can't handle him, get ready and get your burial papers ready, cause this what a struggle at.
Where he going?
It's two places that I know of for most black men: prison or death.
I've been to one of them.
Prison.
I've been
or
to
death.
two for real.
Those that make it beyond the not death part are the blessed ones, who should be challenged as well to reach back and to integrate into these young black lives.
Go ahead, baby.
Let me say this. So I was trying to sew up a point earlier. I'm kind of long-winded, but I'm gonna try to be short.
No, handle your business.
So the point I was making about this, where identifying like our needs, like what makes our community strong versus not. Like right now, this is 2022. I live in the Inslee Highlands. I can live anywhere in the world. I can live anywhere I want to live. I live in Inslee Highlands. I live in Inslee Highlands because whenever I walk out my door and they see success, whenever I get in my car, and it's young black kids that see success. And that is what happened when integration came. We took all the success out. Everybody who got something, they had a way out now. So as soon as they had a way out, they took it. And they left all of the discarded in the hood. So the hood becomes just a
hood.
The hood became the hood because everybody who had access to leave left. And that became the prototype of what we in the black community call success. It became, you get some money, leave. And if you go in this housing market, bro, it's really, it shows itself. When I go into these black communities, these really, really nice black communities, you're going to see older people, old people. This is the generation before my generation. Right. They still there. They still there holding it down. Their houses are immaculate. The yards are kept immaculate, right? And then when you see around them, decadence, right? Because those are the ones who came, those are the ones who left children, right? So they literally, I raised you. You went to Harvard, you got a PhD, you got all this, but you went to move to Hoover. I never
came back.
You went to Hoover.
Right.
And then when you passed, when Mama passed, guess what they did with Mama house?
Gave it up.
Just left it.
Yeah, left it down the window.
Ruins.
Just left it. They don't even want the house.
You know,
they look at the house like it's trash.
Yeah, I'm dealing with
you
that
what I'm
now.
saying? So in a nutshell, so we understand the problem. If I'm guilty of anything, I'm guilty of sheltering my kids. Right? My children are very, very sheltered. Right? My children don't know nothing about no hood shit. My children don't know nothing. My children don't be around motherfuckers, children, excuse my language, who children who do hood shit. Like, my children ain't even around their relatives who do hood shit. Like my children had never stayed a night away from my house.
You breaking generational curses.
You're not listening.
Yeah.
My children have never spent a night away from my house or their mama house. They don't stay with auntie, cousins, brother, none of that. Right? Because I am so protective of what goes into them and what they're affected by. I know when we was kids, bro, what we used to be exposed to when we was over cousin house, over the babysitter house, around Mike and them house. I know the shit we were doing. I don't even allow. So they are very protected. So if I have a mark against me, it's gonna be that. But I have to make a decision.
Right.
As a parent,
Decide
you gotta
what
say,
you gonna
listen, do I want to protect them and subject them to being kind of green in the world when they get older because they've been so protected, or do I want to expose them to all this bullshit and let it eat them up? You dig? It's a fuck. But I have to make the choice. I said, no,
Well, see, even
I'm gonna protect them.
even with your
and-
protection,
and
even-
guide them and give
yeah,
them
even
some
with
tools
that,
to work with.
And that's what I've been talking about. What he talking about?
Yeah, my thing is, and I'm listening to what y'all saying. And the protection that you're doing, you lead them down the road.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You're not putting them out there with it. See, they not gonna
That's
be.
fatherhood.
They not gonna go out there because that ain't where they're from. They gonna continue that path that you set them on.
And I also watch this. I do what was called a civilization class. This comes out of the teachings of
Elijah Muhammad.
Out of Elijah Muhammad, but more specific, Class 13X, which was
Class,
a protege of Elijah. So
5%.
every Wednesday, which is today, if you look at my phone, you see my alarm went off at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, we do what is called a civilization class. This is where we, like, I live according to the supreme mathematics. Y'all may or may not know that.
What the mathematics today?
We'll get into that later. But so I teach my children the supreme mathematics, and we build on that. But more specifically, I involve like what's going on in the world into our conversations every Wednesday. So we build about life, and we have conversations about life. So this is very intentional that I let them know. Look, this is literally what I tell them. We are not them. They don't do what we do. I let whatever they doing, you don't do that. You do what we doing and make them do what we doing. You the leader. I don't care what person who you around, whether they big or smart or whatever, you make them acquiesce to how you move or y'all part ways. Cause that shit that they on, we not on that. We don't do that. You dig?
I mean that,
and they understand that.
Supreme mathematics has always been. I mean, when you really go into it, I don't know how many people understand it. You know, the day to what 14. You know what I'm saying? You got knowledge 1. You know what I'm saying? We break it all the way down. I forget 4 is what, information, something like that.
No.
What 4 is?
4 is culture freedom.
Culture freedom, information. I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So today is knowledge and culture.
All been born to power refinement. The power to refine yourself. So
that's what today's mathematics. Say it.
Knowledge, culture, freedom, all been born to culture refinement. So power refinement, I'm sorry. So we have the power as individuals, as gods, right? We have the power over our universe, which is self, to refine ourselves. We have that power. Like, we have to empower our children and our community to know what their power is. This, like, some people have, I'm not knocking anybody's belief system, because if it worked for you, it works for you, but it didn't work for me. So for me, I had to be taught something, or given something that inspired me to take control and accountability of myself, and that would propel me forward. And for, like, it's like, some people like Kool-Aid, some people like whiskey.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to knock what you like. I'm saying what's going to motivate you, what's going to inspire you, what's going to get you to get up, get out, and get something. Because of what you getting, it ain't causing you to change. You've been doing this for 20 years, bro. Like, what has that done for you?
So
You're telling me what you think, feel, and believe, but what if it's produced in your life?
So look,
Yeah.
I think we can talk all night.
Yeah,
with
we
these
gotta go.
cats.
We out, man. This
Look, man,
song about to
I
come on, man.
appreciate-
Thank y'all for coming.
Appreciate
Man, it's been a
y'all.
beautiful. Hey, we're gonna do a part 2, man. We're gonna do a part 2. We gotta get a
These
little
cats
deeper.
powerful.
We're gonna bring them back. Listen, we bringing them back.
Yeah, the hunt is on. Every step I take is with my gauge. I'm selling